that helicopter overhead is calling out the speed and location, and those units on the ground can then concentrate on just continuing the pursuit at a safe distance without having to worry about a whole lot of extra communication or radio traffic. They're right behind them. They've got plenty of officers dedicated here, and now it becomes a much safer situation. Always safer on the freeway, but when you have a wide open freeway like this with not many other motorists in the vicinity, then you have the opportunity to get a little more creative, and it looks like he's getting off.
This is 215, right?
At the 215 freeway. That's the 215, and he will have the option here. I believe he still has the option of going, southbound. Now he's committed to the southbound side. Something just flew off of that vehicle, or he may have just run something over. I saw some sparks there, but he is now committed to the southbound side of the 210 freeway, where, by the way, traffic remains relatively light here, but at least he's going to stay in the metro area of San Bernardino. He's not going to continue into the desert at this direction. He's going to go southbound on the 215 freeway. And maybe we'll start to figure out whether he has connections out here, whether he is familiar with this area, or whether he's just continuing this joyride along the freeway. But as long as he's on the freeway, that's where law enforcement would like to keep it. Guys, I'm going to hand it off to you for just a second until I figure out where the static. Oh, it might be.
Yeah, you got it.
That's just coming from.
You got it, Chris. Okay, so now 215 south. This now gives this driver the opportunity to head back into the LA metro area on a number of outlets, but anytime I see a car heading east like this car was, you wonder whether they're going to try and go up over one of the mountain passes where helicopters might have some trouble making it up and over. You talk about fuel and you talk about elevation, but now is this, so he might have just exited off of the 215. This is, no, it wouldn't be the 10. We're still too far north, I think, for the 10. This might be the 66?
He's right there. He's right there on the 215. Guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
And now coming to, now off of the freeway. This is at baseline.
He's at the exit ramp.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on Surface Street. He's making a left now on Baseline, going westbound on Baseline Avenue, and now maybe preparing to go the opposite way on the 215 freeway, doing a 180, and now going back northbound on the 215 freeway. And that's what I was starting to get at there. If we see these kinds of turns, it tells you, wait a minute, I'm not so comfortable. I don't know my way around here, or my final destination is not going in the direction that he was going. So for whatever reason, we're speculating, but for whatever reason, he's decided to go ahead and reverse course, get off the freeway, and now going the opposite way, northbound on the 215 freeway. Now, I would expect him to stay on the 215 freeway all the way up to the Cajon Pass, because if he gets onto the 210, which he could do, then he knows he's in for some more traffic, and something tells me that this guy does not want to keep fighting that traffic that he's been fighting for the better part of the last hour or so. That's just a guess, but obviously he may have a destination in mind, and that might be taking priority. In any event, he's going northbound now on the 215 freeway towards the Cajon Pass. We'll see a wild, look at them, cutting off that Mack truck, a wild swerve in front of that 18-wheeler. A great move if you're trying to lose those officers, but there's plenty behind them to make up for that last-minute move. Another wild left-hand turn through that, fortunately, green light. And now this pursuit, again, back on surface streets, taking on a more dangerous profile here. And now we can expect a possible pit maneuver here if they see an opportunity. One has to believe that pit maneuver has been authorized by now.
You would think, and it almost looked like that pursuing officer thought about it and just kind of realized there were too many cars around. But once you see a vehicle like this being pursued take wild movements like that, you can feel the desperation and the danger ratchet up pretty quickly and pretty noticeably. And it seemed like that officer knew what was going on, realized what was happening here, and thought about it, but then just didn't have the situational go ahead to be able to pull that off. And now we are on Highland Avenue, back on side streets. You know, we said early on here that it was an uneventful pursuit, and that's what you want to see from law enforcement's perspective. Blowing through a red light, it just turned green, but you see people there. I don't know if that was a baby stroller or a shopping cart, but you see people at intersections, and you have a car going this fast, Chris, you start talking about some real dangerous possibilities.
Innocent motorists left and right, pedestrians. What was an uneventful pursuit may very quickly become very eventful. Here comes the pit right along the right fender there and spinning that Mercedes out of control, doing a full 180 and disabling that vehicle for now. We'll see if there's anything left in the tank there. He has come to a complete stop. He is now facing southbound, face to face with these 3 CHP units. Head on now with his hands and arms in the air, driver getting out of the vehicle. It is over for him. He understands that that vehicle wasn't going anywhere and his time is up. The driver calmly giving up here, proned out, assuming the position right there in front of those officers, appears to be obeying the commands. But remember, there are 2 other suspects that we are aware of inside that vehicle. So a textbook pit maneuver to finish this guy off and end this pursuit. Exactly the way they train at the academy. A perfect 180 face-to-face with those officers. Immediately they all jumped out and the suspect fortunately gave up as they now attempt to detain the driver of that Mercedes-Benz. Again, we don't know if that Mercedes belongs to this guy or perhaps if it was indeed a stolen vehicle. We only know that the original one was burglary. These are burglary suspects as CHP and it appears San Bernardino Sheriff now involved in this pursuit as they appear to be taking over this arrest here. It looks like a number of different agencies, including, does that say ATF? I'm not sure. What does that vest say?
It says police.
It's just police. Okay, I'm sorry.
Police, yeah.
I thought I saw, I thought I saw something else.
I think it says Laverne.
It could be a number of different agencies, including Laverne, which is not too far away. Also, you've got Fontana and San Bernardino. In any event, you can see them still very cautiously pointing their weapons at that vehicle, about to approach it momentarily. They definitely can probably make out those other suspects by now, but again, through those heavily tinted windows, it could be difficult, but I would expect they will begin approaching that vehicle momentarily using the PA system to give those orders for the passengers to one by one step out of the vehicle. What we're not seeing, by the way,
I don't see anyone else in there, do you?
Doors open. I don't.
Yeah. I don't. These are obviously dark tinted windows, and we were told there were multiple suspects, but given how quickly the driver got out, Chris, I'm surprised that if there is somebody else in the car that they haven't given up as quickly. It's rare you see. I mean, this was a driver who
Here comes somebody else. Here comes the passenger climbing out of the back seat into the driver's seat over the center console. Now about to give himself up. Hopefully here we will see. He may be injured. I'm not sure. He is collapsing out of this vehicle.
Inside.
And now another person visible in the passenger seat. So that would add up to 3. If there is a 4th, we don't know. But that passenger from the back seat crawling over the driver's side onto the pavement there with his hands up appears to be cooperating as well. This would be suspect number 2 out of the back seat, driver in custody, and then one more person in the passenger seat who will be ordered out of the vehicle. But it doesn't appear, and you got to wonder why he didn't just come out of the back seat the good old-fashioned way by opening those doors, but for some reason he climbed out. Maybe the child lock was on, who knows. But in any event, now they are getting ready to order that third suspect who is sitting in that passenger seat out of the vehicle. And we would expect if she intends on giving up, she will be coming out as well in just a few seconds. But right now, you can see not much movement coming from that passenger seat, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, now you see the officers backing away, and I don't know if this is a case of someone being non-compliant or they're just kind of regrouping to assess what's going to happen here. But this person doesn't appear to be moving inside, not making any motions to get out.
I'm going to put my chips on non-compliant, and you can see that canine at the ready.
Yeah, now here we go.
That will be the first.